Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Quantum Eraser, Paul Hall, Ranty Flat Earth, Righteous Force, Chocolate Saiyan, 10th Man and a Non-Moto in G+, along with a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Me.
Oh, sorry, Arwin. And Darwin. And Arwin! Woohoo!
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, this is going out live on the second channel. So, welcome to everybody who's in the second channel live chat. Have I put it up on screen? No, I haven't. I have to change the chat on screen. But this will be going out on Saturday for the Nathan Oakley audience. However, over the last 5 days, we've covered the individual housekeeping questions, one each day. So today, technically yesterday, if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980, we covered distance to the sun. And today, we're going to be covering any viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics. So before we actually cover the subject and why it's asked and what the answer is, anybody in Discord, any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? Don't all go at once.
Can't think of any.
Just hearing some mutterings. No? Okay. So all three of those fields are not science. None of them will ever develop any viable hypotheses for anything they state. And a lot of the rhetoric we get for heliocentricity is from these fields of pseudoscience. So challenging them to actually provide a hypothesis means they would have to actually provide us with genuine, legitimate science, i.e. formulated scientific hypothesis based on a natural phenomena with an independent variable presumed cause of the effect validated by systematic experimentation, as opposed to what we receive from these fields who tell us what our world is. I hasten to add, we get just so stories. Observe and declare. So we don't have science from the people who tell us what our world is, but they absolutely sit under the banner of science. Why? Well, because science is claimed from them to offer the same empiricism as though they have followed the scientific method. And they haven't. They're just using the good name of science, which has empiricism, to punt their just so stories. So our questioning of their validity is to ask them for a viable hypothesis. And they don't have one. That was quick.
So for anybody that's confused as to why you can't form a viable hypothesis, can you tell them?
Well, they can only achieve the first step. Most of them.
Exactly.
So they can observe.
Exactly.
They can observe a phenomena. They can look through their telescope and observe something happening. But then establishing the cause, varying said cause, which they assume is the cause of that effect they observed, isn't in their capabilities. So they've got step one of the scientific method. That's it. Often not even that. Just so story will do about something that's not even there, like empty space, and make it up about nothing, quite literally.
Right.
Just so story about nothingness.
Yeah, they have no way to confirm their assertions, basically. That's what it comes down to.
But you could just justify that with maths. We could be orders of magnitude off when it comes to dark matter. What's dark matter? Whatever you want it to be.
Right. But no actual physical confirmation. That's it. That is what science is really about. So, yeah.
Nathan, can you finish the steps for people listening for the first time for a true scientific method?
Sure. I mean, in its most simple raw form, step 1, observe a natural phenomena. That would be to say something occurring in the physical and natural world that you want to explain. An occurrence. Natural. Step 2, formulate a hypothesis. That is to establish half of it in your first step, your dependent variable, your observed phenomena, and your independent variable, that which you presume causes the effect. So once you've got an independent and a dependent variable, you can form the first half of a hypothesis. Once you've got that, you can then form your null, which is the contrapositive result. In other words, this is the stage that you get your empiricism, or you'll get it from experimentation when you validate it, but this is what offers it upon experimentation. So in the hypothesis, you've got both your affirmative claim, your presumed cause of the effect, independent and dependent variable, and the null, which is the complete opposite. So if A then B is your positive claim, if A not B would be the null hypothesis. So when you go forth to the third step, which is to say, well, there is another step that you can do research in between, but that's not necessarily worth mentioning in the most basic of the steps. The third step would be to actually perform the experiment, which is the actualization of the hypothesis. So if you propose or suppose or have a presumed cause of an effect, i.e. if A then B, you vary A, and if it causes B, you have validated your alternative hypothesis. If you vary A and it does not cause B, you have validated your null hypothesis. So at the end of the process, you will either validate or invalidate your hypothesis. Now, there's only the control variables, which I'm not to mention to keep it in its most simplistic form, but that's pretty much the bare bones of the scientific method. So I'll summarise it. Step 1, observe a natural phenomena. Step 2, formulate a hypothesis. Step 3, validate or invalidate, actualise the hypothesis with experimentation. So even simpler, natural phenomena, hypothesis, experiment. There you go. That was quick.
So they can't manipulate a black hole?
Can you observe a black hole? The thing about space, right, is it's black. And the thing about a black hole, the general overriding principle thing about a black hole, the thing that makes it a black hole, is it's black. So how are you supposed to see him?
Yeah, red dwarf.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, shortened, slightly awkward moments after each shortened housekeeping question now, because normally there's like a certain routine to the beginning of each of these live shows. You go through each question, you gotta get your flow, and then something will flow off the top of it. But whereas each time we cover an individual, some of the shows it's gone on for 3 hours. Gravity, Anthony Riley looking at you, and some of them like I say yesterday's the one on the last show. 5 minutes to summarise the distance to the sun argument. That was all it was. This one, 10 minutes.
Yeah, every day a new approach, right? It is like what housekeepers do, you know. If you're constantly doing the same routines over and over again, and you're doing it for a very long period daily, right? You're gonna find ways to kind of vary the way you do it just to keep yourself slightly more amused, or you're gonna feel like a robot and get depressed. So, and at that we ourselves also approach the housekeeping questions in different ways, depending on how we feel or what our thoughts are bringing us about it at the time being.
Two things have just caught my attention that have made me chuckle while you were saying that. So I got Mason B in the chat. Thank you very much for the super chat. It says, Nathan, what are your thoughts on Arwin and Anon yesterday? Maybe we'll come to that back later. And then there's another one in Master B from 10th Man. So it's got a little caption. It says, I'll just put it up and then I'll say the caption afterwards. It says, I'm looking for that shill Zanuck. Just thought that was quite funny. Love it. So what were my thoughts on Anon? I think he's lazy. You're lazy, Anon.
Okay. You can think that.
So we don't just have to think it. We've proven it. Can prove it by example. You being the example and your information.
My information is lazy?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's not complete. It's not properly formulated. It's obviously and blatantly based on incorrect trains of thought. Conclusions pre-drawn without actually realizing that it completely derails the entire foundation of the argument. That's the laziness we're talking about. And that's the thing that I've been repeating now on a weekly basis to you. So
I mean, I don't think that's the definition of laziness, but okay. Because I have a job and 2 kids, and I also hop on here all the time. Can you do that?
No, you're expanding this out too
the
far.
best baller rebuttal
Hold on,
I've ever heard.
Hold on. No, you're expanding it out too far. The question that I was asked from the super chat by Mason was in regards to your debate with Arwin. And specifically in that regard, you could have, I've been saying this to you for 8 months, so is QE. You could have easily looked up how they derived. I'm not even going to bother repeating it now. I've said it so many times.
Yeah, that's obvious. You're not interested. Yeah, you're not. We know.
Yeah, because
we know.
I'm not dealing with a mathematical function. I'm not dealing with a wave function. I'm looking at a wave pattern that can only be created by interfering wave. It's called a diffraction pattern. Without
it's a wave pattern now.
Diffraction pattern. Period. It's an antecedent. No wave
pattern.
No diffraction pattern. Do you understand?
Well, I can actually draw a wave pattern.
Oh,
Does
cool,
that mean
man.
that,
Can you draw?
that my drawing
Draw it
is
for
a
me.
wave? Does that mean that, Anon?
Draw it for me like a school kid. Go ahead, draw it for me.
I don't need to. I can make people imagine how that works. I basically scribble a few lines on a paper that has a lot of similarities to the wave function that happens when light shines through 2 double slits.
Diffraction.
And then I have this pattern on the paper. And then, according to you, I can claim that that was caused by a wave because it correlates with the same patterns.
So you're going to draw something and then draw a diffraction pattern and then claim it's been caused by particles? Because
by your logic,
hold on. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Just
1 second, Darwin. Sorry. Just so you don't rehash the whole argument from yesterday. So it reached a point where Arwin was describing the double slit when it was scaled up. So it was pretty clear that Arwin had looked into this to some degree. And he explained how you could fire particles of a larger size that definitely weren't light and get the exact same pattern.
Show it me.
You're asking me to on the spot? I can't. I'm sorry. I can't back this on the spot. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
Arwin, show it me. You know about you looked into it.
To see it. But,
show it to me.
Yeah, Anon, I am going to rehash the argument now a little, and because the only example you have is this light that you can do in your kitchen every time. That's the only example you have to then draw a conclusion from that it must be a wave because you presuppose that it is a wave and that can only be caused by a wave. Yet there's a lot of references out there that you like to point at about how diffraction is only a wave. It's all waves. But when somebody actually cites without an actual example, a visual example, but it's still out there, it's still written about, people wrote papers about it, did debates about it, that it has actually been done with something that's clearly not a wave, you dismiss it out hand.
Show it me. I'm waiting. I'll wait and waiting for you to share your screen so I can see this diffraction pattern caused by particles. Let's see it.
Still waiting for John.
Hold on, did
why
he say-
haven't you ever
Okay.
looked it
Hold
up?
on, Chocolate. Did you say by buckyballs? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, let's see this buckyballs.
Okay.
But in order to have a diffraction, you need waves.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, I know you
Antecedent.
believe that. Fucking dumbass.
Antecedent.
I know.
Okay, just so we don't have this for the whole thing, we just don't need we know what your claim is, okay? So please, whenever someone's doing anything Anon, just you don't have to repeat the claim over the top of them. We
I'll
know
go on
it.
mute.
We know it. Sorry, are you digging this out then, Arwin, or is that like...
I don't know where to look. I asked this stuff to John for like months ago. He gave me a bunch of
John.
links to white papers, not actual visuals. I don't know why, but John doesn't have it, I think. Because otherwise he'd shoved it in my face, or he's
Hold
just so impatient
Hold
that he
on.
just refuses to do the work and just complains about me being lazy, not finding it myself, kind of like a baller does. Yeah,
thought
that's
I was
okay,
lazy.
John. So I'm waiting for the evidence myself, but I know the claims are out there, just like the dumb textbook claims about how diffraction can only be caused by waves, and it's everywhere in wiki and dictionaries and all that shit. Doesn't make it actual though, you know, because in
now
all
you're
those
on my side?
dictionaries and all those books and all those encyclopedias, there's all kinds of talk about how the earth is a globe as well. Doesn't prove that either, you know. So yeah, I'm still waiting as well.
You're still
I'm
researching.
basically
You
waiting
and me
on the
both.
same thing as Anand does, except I don't draw really dumb premature conclusions based on false assertions. That's the difference.
What's the problem, man? Sorry, my internet suddenly stopped whole power.
I'll
went
ask
out,
so
man.
there's no heatedness about it. Do you have a quick
Crashed.
reference to any double slit that's been done with buckyballs or anything larger than Lite, basically?
I already went over this before, didn't I? How many times I got to go over this? Who wants to know?
Arwin's just hoping for a physical, something you can look at rather than read.
What do you want me to do?
Demonstrate.
Shut up! It's already been demonstrated. Buckyballs were done in the 90s, fuck's sake.
Okay, show it to me. Show it
What do
to
you...
me.
Show it to you? You fucking...
Yes.
I'm not even talking to you
Find the
anymore. Fuck
URL.
off.
Find a YouTube video of it.
Fuck
Find
off.
something. I'll rest my case.
You don't have a case. You're a fucking retard. Brenda handed you your ass yesterday. How can you even show your
You're
face?
on Brenda's side. Let that sink in. You're on Brenda's
Brenda
side.
handed you your ass yesterday.
You-
Ah!
You
I
are
was
on
laughing
Brenda's
at you.
side.
Hold on,
Let
hold
that
on.
sink
What's
in.
this side crap?
Let that sink
I
in.
don't. Hold on. There's no.
This is the shit I have to deal
Hold
with.
on. Just let me
Because
clear that
I
up.
want to
I'm
know.
not
Hold
doing
on.
I'm not
But now
speaking to
it's
about
him.
just
sides.
Anon
Hold on,
getting all
Arwin,
triggered
hold
over
on.
one another
Just clear
again
that up
and
for
not
Anon.
providing any evidence.
Ugh, triggered. Anon.
Yeah.
No. It's not about sides. I don't care whose side she's on. If she's right, I'll back her. If she's wrong, I'll tell her. And I didn't
Yeah,
see
same
your.
with me. With
I didn't
QE,
see your bit with her.
He's right with the light, with the vacuum
Yeah.
and space.
He got his ass handed to him. Did you listen to it, Nathan?
No, I'd gone to bed by that point, so I don't. I'm saying this, but I don't actually know what happened between the two of them.
Oh, just wait till you hear it, man. I was rolling.
Oh, it was so great.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, let people hear it.
I don't
I
care.
love that.
Fuck off.
We are live. Try
So,
not to
okay,
swear
just
quite
to be
so much,
clear, there
please.
is no demonstration of a diffraction pattern caused by anything else beside a wave.
Yes,
A wave, huh? A wave of what?
That waves can
what?
only
Oh, that's right.
happen.
I forgot.
Doesn't
I'm not
matter.
talking
Like
about that crayon
No.
launcher.
There's no demonstration of that either, Anon. There's a lot of things that are said.
How'd you,
that are not
wait a
really
second.
demonstrated.
Wait a second. Hold on. Anon, how did you get in here?
I'm an elite hacksaw.
Who gave you the link?
I'm an elite hacksaw.
Somebody had to give you the link. Who was it?
I am an elite
Ranty.
hacksaw.
Nathan,
me-
you need
let
to
me
read
ask you
the
something, Randy.
code for the panel.
Shut up, Arwin.
No, I'm
Ranty.
telling this to Nathan.
Ranty.
I'm friends with 76 people in there.
I just want to know who gave you the link.
I told you, I'm an elite hacksaw. I have a Skype
Yeah.
client that actually
You're a
keeps you logged
dishonest-
in when you get
You're a
kicked out.
dishonest retard, right? If I find out who gave him the
Oh.
link to this hangout, you're out of that
What are you
room.
gonna do?
Take him out of the
Like I
room.
said, there isn't. There is.
I'll find out.
alternative
Oh, I'm
Skype
gonna
clients.
find out. I'm gonna find out, retard.
Can we change the
You're a
subject?
tick, Anon. You're a parasite. You're
can we
clearly
change the subject?
unwanted, and you're proud that you are parasitical, Anon.
Yep.
Sick bastard.
I'm like an Alabama tick.
Yeah, you
Don't get
are
rid
a
of me.
parasite that everyone hates. That's right, yeah.
Everybody hates me because I point out your bullshit.
Because you're a
That's why.
parasite and you go to places where you're not wanted. That's right.
Everybody who comes here is not wanted. This all the ballers. So Zanuck, yeah, you can put me in the ballers group. Fine.
Oh, really?
Doesn't matter. I make
Oh,
the show.
No, we
Just
said
in
here.
huh? You know?
Here. In the hangout, not in Discord. Here.
Doesn't matter.
You're not
What? So
welcome
you
here.
can't mute me? So you can't mute me?
You're not welcome here.
Aw.
Because you're a retard. That's why you're not welcome here.
This is Nathan's show. If Nathan doesn't want me, I'll drop.
Oh, he doesn't mind.
I don't
Nathan?
mind
There you
either
go,
way. That's
stay.
why I'm shutting up.
Nathan?
I haven't said anything because I don't mind either way.
I do it.
Well, there you go.
Well, very helpful. Your neutrality comes at the greatest moments, Nathan. Brilliant.
Sorry, I'm not backing you, Owen. What do you want? Just kidding. You can laugh about it.
That's funny.
Make the show fun. You get to yell at me. Don't you like that?
It's not fun. It's a waste of time.
I agree.
Well,
it's a
for
waste
you,
of
You
time.
are a
think
waste of time. You waste
To be honest,
everyone's
Anon,
time.
it is frustrating because the very thing that we've been saying for months and months and months, every time we say it, you go, I'm not interested.
Yeah. Because you're a
But I've
parasite.
been waiting
You're
for
here
the
to waste
demonstration.
everybody's time.
All right, I want to talk to
Even
Nathan.
Brenda has more legitimate input than you have. Yeah. Think
I
about
want
that.
to talk to Nathan.
And
Nathan,
that's scary.
I'm asking for a demonstration of, if you show me a demonstration of a diffraction pattern caused by particles, I will gladly say I was wrong and I will look into the.
Here we back with the particle. You did it in your kitchen.
Yeah, I created diffraction pattern.
Yeah,
Can only be
with
caused
particles.
by- No,
with
that's not particles.
Yeah,
No.
it is. And I already toe tagged your dumbass. You're in my toe tag list for this nonsense.
Perfect. I can't
How many
wait.
times do I got to do this? I'm not doing it again. Go
Because you
go
never
look at
did.
my toe tag list, and your toe tag. You're dead. You're there.
He doesn't care.
All right.
I know he
So
doesn't.
no
He's
demonstration
an
of
guy.
diffraction pattern. Got
He's
it.
basically
Just
kind
be
of like
clear.
Jason McCormack. He just does the same tired old shit over and over and over again forever, and he doesn't care if people don't want to hear it. He likes to assert himself like a parasite.
Yeah,
And he'll
he's
probably
an-
use duck trolls. He'll use hacking. He's even proud of it, how he is a parasite. Just wanted to re-emphasize that for a moment.
he's
All
he's an ether lover.
All I've heard is Anon asking for this paper for this experiment from the 1990s, and Arwin doesn't have it, and Quantum Arrays is refusing to say where it is or where he has it, and Anon's just asking for it, and I think this can be laid to rest here
Okay,
and
can
now.
I
if
answer
this
that
can be
then?
Produced.
Can I answer that? Because he did actually ask me. I just didn't get a chance to answer him.
Okay. Well, I know that it was you brought it up, and you
Yeah,
said that
I understand. Okay,
yeah.
I'll just respond to it then. So for me, the reason it's not come up until now, I tried to use it as a different angle because Arwin tried to use it with the same effect yesterday. That was where the conversation kind of ended for me with you two yesterday. So Arwin saying, look, there's a demonstration of something physical. Now the objection has come for that as a new angle to try and get you to understand this. But my angle wasn't that to begin with. My angle was to say, when you describe a diffraction pattern, the diffraction pattern itself, you then reword as a wave. And you say the only way that's achievable is if it's traversed a wave, whatever it may be. Well, the diffraction pattern, interference pattern, is then qualified mathematically as a wave function. But it's still a diffraction pattern, it's just an interference pattern. What you're looking at is interference. That's what that pattern is. Well, when you
Interferences
quantify...
of what?
Sorry? Say again.
Interference of what?
The likelihood...
What?
Okay, I'll tell
What
you.
are the things that
I'll
are
tell you.
interfering?
Well, that's a good question because that's how they quantify it mathematically. So when you describe interference mathematically as a wave function, what is a wave function? Well, it's a probability distribution. So on the bars that you've got, let's pretend you've got 5, and from left to right they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, as each hit occurs, if you were sending them out one at a time, you'd see that you had a hit of the light at 0.3. And that happens to be the longest bar. In other words, you get more hits at 0.3 than any of the others, 1, 2, or 4 and 5. But when you fire the next one, it doesn't hit 0.3. It hits 0.1. Then you fire another one, it hits 0.5. Well, when you qualify those impacts, where they will hit and what the likelihood of the next impact will be, that's probability. How likely it is to hit the next bar at 0.1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. Well, the likelihood of it hitting 0.2 can be summed up as a probability. The likelihood of it hitting 0.3 can be summed up as a probability. And the likelihood of it hitting 0.4 as a probability. So you have a distribution of probability, aka a wave function in maths. Now that is absolutely not in any way, shape or form derived from, formed by or in physical terms a wave. It's a way of describing a likelihood of an occurrence. How likely is the next bit of light that comes out my laser going to hit position 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5? And the likelihood of it hitting position 3 over number 2 is the distribution of said probability described in maths as a wave function.
Nathan,
Okay.
my rebuttal here would be, it's very simple. It's that in this show format, if there is a claim, there is claim, and then you need to have your citations and proof. So Arwin on my show yesterday made a claim, which was brought up again today by yourself. Arwin said that there is an experiment out there, but he's waiting to get it from John because John told him that he's seen it, and he's also confirmed that he did it in that. Well, it was available in the 1990s. So there is a claim out there, and Anon just wants to see the proof of that.
Okay.
And he's asking the two people
that?
that may be able to get him that information,
Sure.
primarily Arwin and then Quantum Eraser, to provide that proof. And that's all I'm intersecting for, is to say that I see that Anon just wants this proof.
Yeah, we heard you.
Thank
and
you.
you could
Can I
piss
respond
off
to it
too,
now?
right, Ranty?
Hold
Let
on.
me ask him a question first. Well, let me ask him a question first, Nathan.
No, provide your proof.
Can you
Please.
just respond to him, please?
Let me ask you a question.
Just
Ranty,
respond
did you
to
give
him.
Anon the link to this hangout?
I
Provide
don't
your
care about
proof,
that.
please,
Admin
John.
can wait. I just want to respond in the regards to this experiment. Yes, he wants an experiment. The problem, Ranty, is that the experiment he wants in no way, shape or form validates the question he's asking. The double-slit experiment doesn't confirm or deny the existence of waves as light. The understanding...
It might further his own experiment.
I'm not getting a chance to respond, it seems. I'm just getting rumpused. I don't know why, but I am. Responding concisely and coherently to the question you've asked, Ranty. So, even if I give him what he wants, it won't confirm, validate or invalidate in any way, shape or form that light is or is not a wave. However, the construct of the experiment and the descriptions of what is occurring are mathematical. And I can explain that. He just has to understand it.
But in order to do any type of research, you need to have a...
Hang on,
Arwin. Hang on, Arwin. In order to get any kind of research done, you need to have a list of things that you need to go through and get from point A to point B. And I think Anon is quite correct in asking for this. Whether or not it proves his point, he can then take this information away, process it, come back with a better argument. So I still believe that this information needs to be provided to Anon, seeing as it's been made as a claim.
Yeah, can I respond to that? Yeah.
Can I respond to?
Well, no, Ranty, hold on. I just want to respond to Ranty. The information, as I've just tried to explain, scaling up the particulate matter that passes through the double slit doesn't in any way actually affirm, beyond the description itself, it won't make any difference if he sees it. It's not going to change the description of what's occurring in the experiment because they're not trying to validate the question he's asking. So it makes no difference if he sees it or not.
That's correct.
I just agreed with you on that.
But can I interject something now? What it will do, however, it won't prove light is a wave or not a wave, right? Because that's not the experiment. But what it will do is get this nagging habit out of Anon's head that wave functions can only be caused by literal waves because, well, a particle
Not
of
wave
matter
functions,
is clearly
exactly.
not a wave. So that'll make it a lot easier to slap that over his face and get that ridiculous assertion out of the way.
Well, the only person that can help with this issue is Quantum Eraser, and he's here right now. And you've been waiting for this evidence, Arwin. Anon's been waiting for this evidence. Have you got it there, John?
What evidence?
Piss off.
What are you talking about? What
have
evidence?
you got it?
Piss off.
Huh.
Let me ask you another question.
Arwin, would you
What
like?
evidence?
Would you like? I assume by this that
Piss off, you clown. We're tired of listening to you.
What's going on?
You're the dumbest person on the panel.
Hello?
You don't
What's
need to
going
do
on?
this.
Why is
Just
there
make
suddenly
it sound
chaos?
like
Hello?
If you haven't got the
Hello?
proof, you're full
Why is
of
there suddenly
shit.
chaos?
Pissed
What's
off
going on?
yourself.
Yeah, your
I was
sister
here
doesn't
before you,
mind.
Batface.
Guys,
Your sister
in
doesn't
the
mind.
G+. Hello? Why is there suddenly chaos? Ranty's just
Because
claimed this. Ranty's
I'm
just
asking
claimed we're
for
waiting
his
on it.
proof.
Fuck you.
Can you
You
both
don't even know
calm
the
down,
question.
please? I'm trying to
You
get a
don't even know
sentence
the
out.
question.
You're
You lied
both,
about
clown.
it.
you're
You don't
both
have it.
being really disorderly. Can I just try and get my sentence out? Thank you. Ranty's claimed we're waiting on an experiment, and I've just gone to great lengths to explain that even if we had it, the experiment that's being performed doesn't validate or invalidate the question being asked. Ergo, it's not really very useful, but you're now doubling down saying we need to see this experiment.
I want to see it. If you show it to me, I'll
Talking to
shut the
Ranty.
fuck up.
Yeah, because Ranty
Talking to Ranty. Talking to Ranty. Why am I hearing four people? Why am I hearing four people?
You were probably slightly off the mark, which
Because
is
you know
why I
why?
was
You're not
glad
Ranty.
to
Now I
join
want
the
to
show
see
the
it.
first
Hello,
day
Now
that
I
I
I'm asking
want to
joined
see
it in
it.
the
Ranty. Why am I
first
hearing
place.
four
And I would
people?
hate to have bad
Hello?
because I love
Shut
everyone
up.
on the panel.
Shut
but I
up.
hope-
Eli.
Hello?
Eli.
Shut up! I'm talking to Ranty by name. I've explained, Ranty, that the
Yeah, but
experiment
now
doesn't...
I want to see it. Now I want to see it. Now I want to see it, as well as Anon and as well as Arwin. We all three want to see this information.
Okay, for what purpose?
Just
Why?
because now it's pissing me off that John is telling me to piss off and he doesn't want to provide the information. That tells me he's lying or has something to hide about it. And now I want to know about it.
Okay. What exactly is it that you want to know? What's the information you're hoping to...
Arwin, tell him what you need, please.
I'm asking you, Ranty.
He doesn't even know.
I'm asking. Nothing to do with that. I want Arwin to concisely say what he's been asking you for 3 months for.
You said
Ranty doesn't
you
know
want
what he
it
wants.
now. Hold on, QE. You said really abruptly over and over again, you want it now. You want this
Now
information.
yes, I do.
What information?
I want Arwin to rewind Quantum Eraser right now, exactly what he's been asking him for the past 3 months.
I'm asking you, Ranty. Ranty.
Never mind asking me that. I want him to... Don't change it around on me.
You're the one who asked.
Don't be a cunt. Don't be a fucking cunt.
Why are you getting so triggered?
Because you are now trying to defend Quantum Eraser on the slide.
No, I'm not asking. I've told him to shut up.
Specifically mention exactly what it is that
I've
I'm
told
asking
him
for.
to shut up
This
so I
is
can speak to
Arwin's
you, and you're just getting
information
mad.
that he wants, and
Getting
Anon's
nuts, Ranty, I don't get it.
information that he wants. So provide it, John.
Let me know when you're done. I am trying to have a conversation with you, Ranty. You, not Arwin, not QE.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I'm trying to ascertain what information you're trying to acquire. You.
The buckyballs.
The experiment from the 1990s.
Yeah, for what? And what are you hoping to get? What information do you want from it?
It's been a claim. I want to see the information.
What information?
I want to see the citation. I want to see the proof of the experiment.
What is the information you want?
Let me
Why am I hearing someone else's voice? Is that Anon? What a shock. I'll say it again. I'm talking to Ranty, who's piped up. I want it. I want the information.
Well,
this
yeah,
information's important.
Now I know what. Now I want to understand why he's not giving it to Arwin for 3 months.
Giving
but
what?
He's still parroting that it's out there. He's
Giving
still
what?
He said it before.
You're
that it's
just
still out
ignoring
there.
me and talking non-stop. You're doing the same trick as bloody unorthodox earlier.
Well, you know what it is that I'm asking for.
Try again.
So why are you asking me to remind me again what it is that I'm asking him for?
Because I don't know what you're asking for.
What, you've forgotten yourself, have you?
You're the one asking, not me. That's why I'm trying to find out what you're asking for. I want this information. I want it now is what you said. So what do you want?
So wait a minute. So you're going to tell me that you can remember everything else that we've argued about in the past, but you can't remember exactly what I'm asking for now. Is this what you're telling me? To defend.
Let me answer and see if you constantly talk through me, Ranty. We'll find out how triggered you are
Do you know
if
what
I try and answer.
specifically I'm looking for?
No, you are very
Actually,
triggered because I'm trying to answer
I am
and
looking
you're
for a
talking through me,
proof of an
Ranty.
experiment. Proof of an experiment. that shows
So when I've
diffraction
asked you to
pattern
tell me,
cause-
what's happening is He's asked me to tell him what he's asking for. So it seems like he's got something to say. He's going to keep talking through me, just like globeheads do.
Yeah. So you want to know exactly what it is. I want to see an experiment that John has said is out there that shows the diffraction pattern created by particles. Is that concise enough for you?
No, because that's not an experiment that exists and not the purpose of that experiment.
John has told...
Ranty, please can I respond without you interrupting me, Ranty? Is that a possibility? I know you're very, very triggered, but I'd like to respond unimpeded. Please.
It's all right. Now, the audience is seeing this, John and Nathan.
What, you not letting me talk for more than half a breath?
Go ahead and talk, Nathan.
I don't need your permission. I need you to stop talking through me when I start talking.
Go ahead and talk, Nathan.
I don't need your permission. I'll say it 4 more times.
I'll ask the question 10 more times then. Why is John refusing to hand over the experiment to Arwin?
Can somebody be sure to share this link with Trolls versus Trolls so they can just document how triggered Ranty is?
Triggered because John is sitting there hiding behind the fact that he's full of bullshit.
So the experiment that you're asking for earlier, I tried to explain that it doesn't give you that outcome. This validity for particles to defeat a particle wave duality is not going to be attained by scaling at the double slit experiment. I have explained that to you already. Ergo, showing Anon the experiment won't achieve that outcome. Now, what will
I agreed with you.
And you're interrupting me. And what I have also tried to explain to him is that the principles that are used within the experiment to derive the wave function could only exist if you were dealing with particles, i.e. the impacts, their likelihood, and the wave function derivative that you get mathematically when you're calculating the probability distribution of the impacts, not waves, impacts of particles. So if he was to understand that, and you're still interrupting me.
I'm sorry, but it's a straw man, Nathan, and I'll tell you for why. Because
I haven't finished talking, Ranty. Please can you stop interrupting me, Ranty? Ranty. I'm trying to detail it. Ranty. I'm trying to detail an experiment that you didn't know what you needed from it. And when you told me what you required from it, the experiment didn't have that. And I've already explained that to you. Take a breath. Anon simply refuses to find out where wave function was derived from. We've been telling him for 9 months straight. Now we've moved on to Arwin trying to... There he goes again. Moved on to Arwin trying a different angle, which is to say you can scale up the experiment to things that are bigger than the single thing you've got this misconception about wave-particle duality in. Now again, even if he shows him the scaled-up version, the experiment's not addressing wave-particle duality. It's a tenet of the actual experiment that could only exist if you had particles. You couldn't derive wave function if you didn't. But he doesn't understand that derivative in maths and refuses to look into it, says over and over again that he's not interested, and is now demanding that QE provides an experiment that will not in no way address it for being scaled up.
May I?
May I actually? No, hang on, wait.
It's a different issue though, because
in case
May I actually? Jesus Christ!
For that, but it's separate.
Right. So when Anon specifically asked Quantum Eraser not 15 minutes ago about bucketballs in the 1990s, right? He said that experiment was done back in the 1990s. Yeah, because this is the argument they are having, and now we're asking for proof of that.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
asking
not the
for proof.
argument. He explained it to you twice.
He
explained it to you twice.
I'm trying to keep hello. I'm trying to keep Ranty calm. Hello. Dialogue. 2 people, not 5. Hello, idiots. 2 people, not 5. Just me and Ranty. Thank you.
By QE's own rules, it is claim, and then you provide the evidence.
Okay.
Claim, evidence. Claim,
no problem.
evidence. There is a claim out there.
Okay.
I want to see the evidence.
Say it 5. Okay, Ranty, say it 16 more times. Go on. Spit it out 16 more times. I didn't hear the first 5.
Right, good, because I've said it 50 now, and I just don't seem to be getting anything from Quantum Eraser. He's hiding.
Okay. So, was it Quantum Eraser making the claim that the scaling up of buckyballs proves or disproves wave particle duality in a debate between Arwin and Anon?
That is not what I'm asking.
Well, you've said
I'm
that
asking
somehow QE needs to justify this claim because
Quantum Eraser claimed it in this show not 20 minutes ago.
Please, Ranty, can you take a breath?
He claimed it here 20 minutes ago
Ranty,
when he was asked about
take
it.
a breath?
It was done in the
Ranty,
1990s.
I'm trying to subtly say you're very triggered and coming off very badly as you continually interrupt me.
No, I'm not. I'm not coming off bad here, Nathan, because I'm just asking, because Quantum Eraser brought up 1990s. If anybody heard that, that was from Quantum Eraser's own mouth. He then puts himself in a position where he is also agreeing that this happened. And so now we want to see the proof. Very simple.
Why?
Arwen's been asking for him from Quantum Eraser for the past few months.
Let me know when you're done.
I haven't
Let me know
finished.
when you're done.
Let me finish. This is exactly what you do. You take a breath and then somebody says something and you say, oh, I'm being interrupted. Well, no, I was literally taking a breath there when you started to talk and then say that I'm rumpusing you. Right. So Arwen's been asking Quantum Eraser for the past few months for this information because Anon and him have been going at it. Quantum Eraser says it's out there. Arwen believes him. Arwen believes him so much that he says it's out there, it's out there, it's out there. There's proof it's absolutely out there because John said so. And then John confirms it today on this very show. And then I say, let's see this information. And we are still waiting 20 minutes later for this information, whether or not it's going to prove anything in any shape or form, but just the fact that the information is out there and the experiment and proof is out there, that's all. Whatever somebody does with it, whether they go and wipe it on their arse, I don't care. Now I just want to see it, and I'm sure everybody else wants to just see this because people have been arguing about this and John has not been actually very forthcoming in providing the information, even though he specifically agreed and he mentioned 1990 not 20 minutes ago, proving that he knows about this test or experiment that was out there that he's been telling Arwen is out there, right? Now, you've seen how it went down yesterday. Arwen got very triggered over this, right? And this is the issues that we're having, is if the Quantum Eraser is saying something and Arwen believes him and then the information actually isn't there, right? Then Arwen has already been spending months going down the wrong path looking at something that he should, or looking for information that isn't there. Right. So I would like to see from Quantum Eraser to back his claim, back his proof, back his evidence, and sort it out once and for all. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go on mute right now. And then it's going to be up to the audience to decide whether Quantum Eraser provides that or hides away. I'm going on mute.
Just a couple of questions, though, Ranty, rather than you having an endless star tribe and then shutting down. What information does QE is responsible for providing what information exactly? And why is he responsible for providing it?
If I may respond, the Bucky Bow experiment was...
Arwen,
he's on mute.
Arwen, I want to know from Ranty, who's just had an endless diatribe. It's not reasonable that he should just get to spew and then not address any questions that I've got. So
I was the one originally doing the inquiry.
Don't care,
right?
Arwen, please.
About me.
Arwen, so let's have a little segue because Arwen's decided it's his turn to talk. No, Arwen, I'd like to address what has just been charged at QE by Ranty. So what exactly has QE claimed that he needs to back up? Okay, it's not his claim.
In the 90s.
Okay.
Wait.
It's Arwen, fucking hell. Arwen's made a claim in debate with Anon. Now, if I take some piece of information from a library book and don't read it all the way through or go out and get all of the citations and references and double check them, or if there's an experiment, do it myself for the sake of argument, is it the book's fault that I go into a debate without all the information to hand for me to debate with? Do I then go and shout at the book? No. Is it the book's responsibility to educate me about the information I'm going to go out and debate with? No, it's not. Likewise, it is absolutely sod all to do with Quantum Eraser what Arwen chooses to do with information he's got from Quantum Eraser. He might choose to go out and research it for endless hours so he can win a debate with the information. He might decide that information is too limited to go forth and debate with. But should he go forth and debate with it, it's not fucking Quantum Eraser's problem. He hasn't got to do anything. So you piping up and demanding from him, Ranty, that he's got to do something now is complete horse shit, especially when you don't even know what you're asking for. And what you do ask for isn't the experiment that's being demanded of QE when he hasn't claimed it. Arwin has. It's not his problem, mate. So I don't know why you think you're in a position to pipe up and demand stuff of QE. Who the hell are you?
All right, I'm gonna insert myself here for a little second. I guess I'll just not take Quantum Eraser's word for anything ever again, because apparently it's a disgrace if I then eventually demand some kind of evidence for that specific, narrow down, not involved in anything else specifically necessarily claim. I guess
just a quick
that's
question,
Randy's
Arwin.
point. And
Sure.
you seem to strawman the
Very
point.
good advice. Yes, very good advice. Don't just take people at their word. Totally agree. How much research have you actually done on buckyballs?
Right. Well, I'm just not going to mention it again. I'm just going to give Anon his apparent win that I can't rebuttal because I'm not being handed the evidence in order to attempt this because of technical issues, and it's my claim and that.
No, my question was, how much research, given that you found out about buckyballs, did you do on them?
Well, I even heard about the concept 20 years ago, so it's not like the first time I've heard about it. It's just I've never actually been provided any actual visual related. Like, here is a photograph of the plate it was done with. Here is the statistics concerning that and how the decision was made. I've never been able to see that, and I've asked for it before. Okay, and that's the problem, and I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the actual evidence that it was actually done beyond any conceptualization. It was just declared.
How much time did you spend researching it yourself, as opposed to asking someone else for their information on it?
Well, I'm assuming that Quantum Eraser, since he's always so solid about
deflecting,
providing evidence
this
for
onto
claims.
Quantum Eraser.
Arwin. He can then, by his own standards, provide the evidence for it.
Arwin, can I just get a word in? Sorry, guys, can I just try and talk to Arwin? I know he's going to do the same that Ranty did to me and talk through every fucking word. So, given that you found a bit of information out from QE, is it now his responsibility to educate you in every fine detail about buckyballs and the scaling up of the Quantum Eraser, the double-slit experiment? Is that his responsibility now?
Well, it would show some character consistency.
So you think, in your deluded, privileged mind, that it's his responsibility to now educate you in that subject matter? Wow, Arwin, really?
Well,
No, we're just asking for the proof.
He makes
man.
claims for it. I don't care if he educates it. It's just that if you say like, yeah, you're gonna have to do it yourself, but he also uses it in his arguments. That's the problem.
Oh, and when he does, and let's say someone beats him, and he's happened to have cited, say, Karl Popper, and he loses an argument, does he go and knock on his door and say, "Oi, why didn't you educate me on this analogy better? You told me about this analogy. It's your responsibility now to educate me on this." Or maybe go to Feynman and do the same. Feynman, you told me this little detail in one of your lectures one day. What about all this other stuff? It's now your charge to keep me educated on it in case I debate it. Is that how it works, Arwin?
No.
So it's fuck all.
You're going.
Fuck all responsibility of QE's then to make sure you're kept up to speed on this stuff then. Not his problem.
Okay. Well, I'm
just out of interest,
trying to uphold QE by his own standards. That's all.
His standards? No, this is you in debate with someone else. It's not his standards. It's your standards. The fact that you're now charging him with having not told you has led Ranty to have a massive moan at him, like somehow he's now in charge of giving you all this information and is somehow guilty of not giving it and should be demanded to give it because you've lost a debate in this regard because you didn't research it afterwards. Therefore, it's the guilt of the person that told you a bit of information in the first place. That's what's happening here.
It has nothing to do with my debate with Anon yesterday.
You're saying you weren't kept up to date.
That in there. It has nothing to do with that.
Sorry. You're saying you weren't kept up to speed. Your underling QE didn't give you the information that you charged him with. You delegated out to him this research. Oh, my bad. You're not his fucking boss. You're not going to be delegating shit to him. In fact, the fact that you have so little respect for QE is beyond. It's just deplorable. The fact that you've got that level of respect that it can permeate out to Ranty to then demand of this man who has educated you so much that he should be giving us this information. It's just downright irresponsible to not give it us. How dare you? Do you two have any fucking idea how arrogant you are? How dare you? You both need to feel ashamed.
That's a really harsh because it's not about that at all. It has nothing to do with it. Any of it. I don't know why you're going off into this tangent. It's ridiculous.
Because it's outrageous. Someone gives you some information.
It's not outrageous. It
what you
has
should
to
be
do nothing
doing.
to do with him educating me or
it
my
is.
demands. It has to do with him saying things.
Next time someone educates you, Arwen. Next time someone educates you, Arwen. Yeah, get triggered. Just do exactly the same as Ranty did. Get very, very triggered. Go on.
You're triggered. You're.
I'm not in the slightest bit triggered. I'm annoyed at the arrogance of you two.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'm really disappointed at you, Nathan.
You won't shut up.
You're going this far.
Yeah, you won't shut up.
Yeah, you won't.
You let me know when you're done. Get it out, all out, like Ranty did, and then go on mute and never respond, or disappear completely.
Let QE get on here and spit and tell us. Stop white knighting.
So excuse me, I don't mind white knighting for him, and when he educates me, do you know what I say? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting to be educated, Nathan.
Oh, right.
Plenty of times, and I give him a lot of credit.
Feeds you bullshit.
Oh, sorry, my bad. It's your delegation for the education you require and the information he should be out sorting for you, Ranty, hasn't come in a timely fashion. I'd sack him, mate. Oh, my bad, he isn't your fucking employee.
Well, Owen's only been... Well, how about once somebody comes on, a Glober comes on, and you ask for evidence, if they don't provide evidence within 2 minutes, you're calling them out.
I do.
Yeah, you do. So I'm calling QE out.
Oh, so he made a claim, did he? Didn't we just go through
made
this?
The claim. People are saying it in the chat that he's made it in the
See if we can have it with Ranty again, because he's now talking through when it's a devastating question. Devastating question, so it's time to talk through Nathan. It's just like the fundies. I'm asking a devastating question, so Ranty's going to talk non-stop. So, Ranty, what claim did QE make exactly?
Buckyballs in the 1990s were proved. Quote from here no more than 30 minutes ago in this very show.
In defence of an argument that Anon was having with Arwen. He brought up Buckyballs, did he? QE.
Arwen brought it up with...
Arwen brought it up? Oh, my bad. So not QE then. So it seems like, again, verbal diatribe that I am going to mute, because these people, like Ranty's just called me, are cunts, when they're being shown to be completely unreasonable and wankers. Ranty, just like any normal human being, which is why the globeheads aren't shills. Ranty's no fucking different. He's talking right through every word I say right now. Doesn't realise I've stuck him on mute because he's an asshole, and I don't want to get triggered listening to his nonsense diatribe, total unreasonableness over the top of me. I'm just going to point out that he hasn't brought up anything. QE's not done anything. He's not made any claims. He's not used Buckyballs as a defence of anything. He happens to have given Arwen some information, and Arwen has turned around and basically said, well, it's then his responsibility to make sure I know every single aspect of this particular subject in case it comes up in debate. And am I to be defeated in debate with this information? I'm going to charge you with the failure, and your failure to keep me up to date with it. Yeah? So that's what's basically happening here. I'm very disappointed in my co-hosts, my other panel members, in their total arrogance. And while I'm being completely rumpus to shit by Ranty, I'm going to say I am personally very grateful to QE and wouldn't dare be so arrogant as to demand that he gives me further information. I might ask him kindly once in a while if he's prepared to give it me. But demanding it like this is just bloody outrageous.
It up. Quantum Eraser brought it up. He brought it up, Nathan, not 30 minutes ago. So I'm asking him, in the 1990s, to show that proof. It's very simple. Don't white knight for him, let him answer himself.
That was the rudest thing I've ever seen you do, Ranty.
Well, I'm sorry, I was halfway through. I'd only got 2 words out and he interrupted me.
It doesn't matter. You should
I'm
have
not being
more
treated
choice.
like I'm not being treated like a cunt on here. When I'm halfway through speaking, saying something to get interrupted so rudely. When all we're asking for is one of our own to show us some information that he has been parroting around as being proof. It's very simple. If he doesn't have it, just hold your hands up and say, I don't have it.
He hasn't made a claim,
very
Ranty.
simple.
He hasn't made a claim. He hasn't made a claim, Ranty. He just won't ever shut up to hear this. Ranty's got verbal diarrhea. Whoever's talking, now it's Arwen. Of course, it's double team. Double team time.
Double speak now. Oh,
yeah, shut
wow.
up. I'm trying to
really
talk.
piling on
I've been
slander
rumpus
here
non-stop
all
by
of a
bloody
sudden.
Arwen, and now I'm getting
Getting
rumpus
all
by
filthy
Ranty, and it won't ever
slanderous
stop.
now, are we,
So
Nick?
on my own show, these two cunts have decided I'm not allowed to have a say in my own show. They're going to talk non-stop. basically never allow my responses. Now they're talking over me again. Of course. Well, that's not reasonable, so obviously I'm going to shut their line down so I can be heard. These two bastards are totally unreasonable in their demands of a man that's trying to educate them, taking out his own time and effort to do so, and upon being defeated by an argument, they think it's reasonable to demand a better education from that man. It's not their employees, under no obligation. The fact that he's given them any information to go out and brush up on themselves is absolutely up to them. The fact that they don't want to do it and want to charge him with their failures is totally and utterly unreasonable.
Fire!
May I have a nice chat with QE, please?
No. I don't know why Rumpus number 1, Ranty, and Rumpus number 2, Arwin, have forced me to shut down their line every time I want to speak.
Just let me chat with QE. That's it. Just me and QE.
I'm
very
pretty
calm,
disgusted with Ranty and Arwin. They don't want to hear it, so they both talk over me the moment I start trying to actually communicate it with them, rather than the audience alone, because they won't let me communicate it with them. They just talk through me.
Disappointed in what, Nathan? In asking Quantum Eraser to provide some cowbell?
For what claim? What claim did QE make?
QE told Arwin.
Right.
Told him.
No, you're
told
asking
him.
the wrong damn
Buckyballs in the
questions.
1990s.
That's why I haven't been able
Who's
to add
interrupting me
anything in
now?
this whole time. I'm so upset.
Elijah, do you think you're helping, mate?
Oh, it's not him.
Do you think you're helping, Elijah? No, you're not.
So if Quantum Eraser has been telling this Arwin for the past few months, and he's been using this argument against Anon, and then when I bring it up and mention Quantum Eraser, and Quantum Eraser agrees that this experiment is out there, yeah, it was proved in the 1990s, and I simply say, well, show me that then, Quantum Eraser. This is me asking Quantum Eraser for his proof that he mentioned on this show 30 minutes ago, Nathan.
Yeah, he's not using it in...
Forget Arwin, forget Anon.
Yeah, see, I'm not allowed to respond. I'm not allowed to respond. See, this asshole, he's calling me a cunt left and right, but he just won't shut up. He's not making an argument using that proof. Arwin is. So it's Arwin's responsibility to back his own proof with evidence. Now, while QE might have cited it to Arwin, that doesn't make it QE's responsibility. That's where you're confused. But you're charging him like it's his responsibility. It's not.
He said it in this show 30 minutes ago.
So what?
Agreed it was out there.
So what?
I'm asking for it.
Why? To prove what? I asked this earlier. What information?
I just want to have it.
I'm still talking, Ranty. We went through this earlier. I asked you over, and you're still doing it again. You're interrupting me again. Why are you calling me a cunt when you're not letting me get a sentence out? You've just charged me 2 minutes ago with talking all over you. Now you're doing it. A projection, mate.
No, because
I just need you to shut up. I just need a chance to respond. I just need a chance to respond.
I don't need a reason to ask.
I just need a chance to respond, and I'm not getting one. You're being totally unreasonable.
No, you're white knighting for Quantum Eraser here. And it's very evident for the whole... Everybody's seeing this, Nathan. And we just want to see the proof. Why are you doing this? Why don't you just say, yeah, there's a claim out there, show your proof? Because you do it to everybody else, but when it's Quantum Eraser and it's clear that he doesn't have it, you're white knighting for him so badly, and it's very, very poor, Nathan.
Have what?
I'm out of it.
Yeah, rage quitting, are you? Got your little diatribe out and now you're going to piss off rather than face any of my questions, Ranty? Questions that you will just talk through non-stop or run away like a little coward. He is under no obligation or responsibility to back Arwin's claims. If Arwin wants to back something he's heard from a third party, it doesn't become the third party's responsibility to back what becomes Arwin's claim. He has to back it. Unfortunately, he hasn't, and has then charged QE with the responsibility for his failure. Well, it's not QE's problem. Now, the fact that he's gone, yeah, there is a buckyball experiment in the 90s, that doesn't then transfer responsibility for that debate and proving that claim onto QE. Yeah, there is. Well, I don't have to do anything. He hasn't got to do a damn thing. He's not having the argument. He keeps saying, I'm not having this argument, because he's done the same thing I have for the last 8 or 9 months, which is say to Anon, go and find out where wave function has been derived from. Making this necessity for a non-experiment in this regard redundant. It's not needed. You don't need the experiment on account of the fact that that's not proving or disproving wave particle duality. It's got sod all to do with it. So what's he going to do? Run around because you've demanded? Who's interrupting me now? Who's that? Oh, of course it's Anon. Yeah, Anon. When you plead to get yourself put back in Master B, do you think I'm going to let you when you're interrupting me like the other two cunts who've been interrupting me this entire show? Knowing to shut your fucking mouth. Yeah, now they've fucked off, I actually get to talk unimpeded, and you think you're going to interrupt me, do you, asshole?
This is your show, man. I'm not.
Yes, so shut up.
Okay, I'll go on mute.
When you get kicked out of Master B, Anon, I will not be there white knighting for you to get put back in. QE, on the other hand, I'll white knight all day for him. Yeah, 90% of my information's come from him. You don't think I'm going to defend him? Of course I am. Arwen's information that his gripe is because he's got information. Yeah, I think he should be saying thank you. Not moaning that he hasn't got enough of it out of him. Oh, right. Oh, that's how it works, is it? Someone gives you a bit of information and you'd be damn sure you're going to give it all of them. That's valuable information. Yeah, people pay a lot of money for information. But because he said something that's true, you say, no, you must back it immediately. Someone else has taken that information and argued with it, and they haven't got the entirety of the information. Well, maybe QE spent years and years researching it, and now holds it as valuable information. He's reluctant to just give up because you demand it of him. Like you're his boss. Who the hell do you people think you are? Have some bloody respect.
Asking for a cowbell.
Was he debating with you? When he debated with you, he told you to go and find out what wave function was, having presented it to many audiences Anon, over and over again. We've done, me personally, with him, has done presentations on that subject. I know about it. You just say I don't care. What, you think we should extend you respect? You can't be asked to do your due diligence. You don't go away and research any of the stuff that QE tells you. You don't go and do your due diligence. You expect to be spoon-fed it like Arwen. When you're not spoon-fed it in the manner you expect it, shut up! You dumb fuck! Are you that fucking stupid after I've told you that I don't want you interrupting me? And the fact that you are means I have no sympathy for you when people kick you out of this group? Shut your mouth! I'm telling you that you spastics need spoon-feeding. Yeah? You've got absolutely no respect for the people that are actually taking their time out of their day to give you this information, of their goodwill. Yeah? I'd prefer you said thank you to QE, not demand he gives you more. Oh, thank you very much for that juicy, yummy information. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, that ran out quickly. Poison? Give me more! How dare you not give it me now? Who the fuck do you people think you are?
Bullshit.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
I'm telling you, what he's telling me is bullshit, so I'm not eating it. I'm asking him.
Yeah, because you've done your due diligence, have you? Mr. I can't be asked to go and find out where wave functions derive from.
Because
you're a lazy piece of shit. You are lazy. I've told you. That's what I told you when you joined. You're lazy. I can't be bothered with that. You're lazy.
I'm not. Let me.
Yeah, you are. You, Ranty, and Arwen, in this regard, are all lazy. You can't be asked to go and do the extra research. You've heard something juicy, and then rather than doing the due diligence and research required to form your own coherent arguments, you go out with the tiny sliver of information you've been given by somebody considerably more information rich than yourself, and then when your limited information you've been given by someone else fails because you haven't got an expansive knowledge of it, you blame him. The fucking arrogance level is off the scale.
He is giving me bullshit. The only thing that can cause diffraction is...
Oh, shut the fuck up, you stupid moron. You are dumb as all shit. With that, I'll say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley channel, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat. I don't think I've read out any super chats. I should really do that now. Let's do that. Hold on 1 second. So a massive shout out of appreciation to... Where the hell are my super chats? Here we go. Big Mac Miller Lite. You're all huge homo get wads and failed internet edgelords. Thank you very much for the super chat, Big Mac Miller Lord. Really appreciate your support. Also, Elijah Freeman. This is the consequence of asking the wrong questions, Anon. Right on. You're trying to get that in the show, Freeman. I'm really sorry. Thank you very much indeed for your super chat. Also, Brandon Toy. Massive shout out of appreciation. None of us above any others. All respect QE. But he's due for any... Let's see if I can find that up. It's scrolling past. Bear with me. None of us is above any others. All respect to QE, but he's not due any favoured treatment. totally disagree, Brandon. I think I own quite a lot, actually. Nevertheless, I'll say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in live on the Nathan Oakley Premiering stream. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley 1980 Premiering stream, as there'll be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!